Farmers are bracing for the impact of Trump's sweeping global tariffs and the possibility of losing the biggest export market for many of their crops, China. Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins saying farmers and ranchers understand why Trump is doing this.
They understand that there may be a short time of uncertainty, but for the long haul, as we restructure the American economy and the government, American economy and our private sector, with the government playing a role in that, President Trump's vision of using tariffs. At the end of the day, this president committed to putting Americans first, and as part of that are our farmers and our ranchers.
And joining us now is the farmer and president of the National Black Farmers Association, John Boyd Jr. John, thank you so much for joining us on this Saturday evening. We really appreciate it. I first just want to get your perspective as a farmer, as someone who also works with a lot of farmers.
Yes.
How is this going to impact them? Do you agree with how the Agriculture Secretary just framed that?
No, I don't agree with what she said. Farmers don't have a whole lot of time. And this is planting season right now for America's farmers, and we should be in the field with our corn planters and all of these things. Farmers don't have operating loans, and the United States Department of Agriculture is closing offices around the country that farmers depend on to do these loans and services that the Secretary is talking about. Every time the president says the word tariff, the prices, the continue to decline on corn, wheat, and soybeans, and the market is just in complete havoc here. So the president says we got a whole lot of time and to bear with them and find new markets at home, all of these things he said. But the farmers that are calling us every day have cast a web of uncertainty based on what the president is saying. They're saying, John, should we plant our crop or shouldn't we plant it? I don't have a farm operating loan in place. What am I going to do? The president is really scaring America's farmers right now.
Yeah, and to your point, they don't have huge amounts of lead time where they can kind of maneuver. They either need to plant when it's planting season or miss that season. That's kind of how it works. Yeah, go ahead.
30 to 45 days is the window of opportunity for me to plant my crop. And right now, as I speak to you, I don't have a farm operating loan in place, and I'm meeting with seed dealers to see what I can do to get my crop in the ground. And it's due to the fact that the prices are so low based on the president's announcement on tariffs that the bankers say, hey, boy, I can't lend money based on $9 soybeans and $5 wheat and $4 corn. So what is the president proposing to do? The last time he was in office, he came out immediately and imposed tariffs on China, the #1 purchaser of U.S.-grown soybeans. The price was $16.80. That price plummeted all the way down to $6 a bushel. So the president says that the tariffs work. They didn't work the first time. So we don't have a winning opportunity or anything to look at to really compare this to. So it's really bad news for America's farmers right now.
And to your point, when President Trump enacted these tariffs in his first term, his administration spent billions to help farmers out when they were hit by those tariffs, what you were laying out there when all of that happened. Are you anticipating that is going to happen again, that there will be federal help for farmers?
Well, the problem with the president's programs that he put in place last time as well is you get into a paper chase with the United States Department of Agriculture. Farmers really want a fair market. And one thing most Americans don't understand is farmers are price takers. We don't make the price, And corn, wheat, and soybeans, the three major commodities, are controlled by the market, not by America's farmers. So the president put this program in place. Farmers have to go into USDA offices and apply, which now this administration is firing USDA employees and have fired quite a few of them. And they're closing the offices that I spoke about that farmers have to go into to get this so-called relief that the president is talking about. So you can't have it both ways, is my message to this president and this administration. If you support America's farmers, then leave the offices open. That's something that I support. At least farmers can get the loans and services, release the grants and loans to America's farmers. We need emergency loans right now in this country for America's farmers. And what this Ag Secretary is talking about isn't what we need, and we haven't been at the table. So all of these announcements that the president is putting out there, the farmers weren't at the table and say, hey, board, you know, what you and other America's farmers think about this. They're saying this is going to be good for us, and they came up with that through probably Stephen Miller and some of the other people that have been advising this president.
I'm from Arkansas originally. I grew up there. I knew farming families. It's not an easy job. It's really hard. In addition to the physical labor, it's stressful because there's so much, as you know, that you don't control, including the weather, including, you have to rely on the commodities market to see just, what the price is going to be. What kind of implication do you think this has for these families, for these people who have been in farming for a long time? Do you think it will push some of them out of farming ultimately?
Farming is the hardest occupation known to man. It never ends. I can work 24/7. Matter of fact, when I leave here, I'm going back home to my farm in some kind of way. I'm hopefully getting my crop in the ground. Hardest occupation known to man. Farmers are the most independent people and proud people. They're not really going to come out and speak out against this president. They are in small talk saying how bad these decisions are. But these tariffs are going to put America's farmers out of business. There's no way we can stay in business with $9 soybeans and some of these other dismal prices out here. And the future of America's farmers. Once that farmer loses his farm, guess what, people? He can't go down and work at some fast food joint or something like that. He becomes a pillar of salt. And that's what this president's doing. The very population that voted for him, I didn't vote for him, but many farmers in this country campaigned for this president, voted for this president, and we're the first ones that this president is punching in the face as America's farmers say, you know what, you guys can take this hit and go out and make yourself a new market and have fun selling your goods at home. Almost in a really insulting type of dialogue the president's been speaking to America's farmers. So on one hand, he says he supports us, he loves farmers, but what he's doing is running us out of business with these tariffs. This is a war. This is really a trade war, what the president has started. And he imposed tariffs on everybody except for Russia. And we can't figure out as farmers is when Russia became America's best friend. We can't figure that part out.
All right, John Boyd Jr., thank you for your thoughts on this. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Support America's farmers. Thank you.